It's not poor Will and poor Jada all the way. It's not he's under some spell and she's just got him wrapped around her finger. And yes, he may have some traumatized issues there, some codependency issues there, some things that he hasn't healed that he's playing out through his attachment to Jada. And on the flip side, she's got some things going on. Yes, there's some of this going on. But what I'm saying is, they've been together 30 years, you best bet there has been some growth, some progress. They have learned a tremendous amount together, and a lot of it is spiritual progress. And all I'm saying is, oftentimes for our spiritual growth, we have to have people come into our life that are going to challenge that are going to somehow trigger that up in us, or else we would never get that work done. If everything just fell right into place all the time, and there wasn't some sort of challenge there, and a lot of times those people aren't meant to stay forever, but I really do look at it that way sometimes. I have to take it how you will. A lot of the people in my past, and I don't carry hate for those people, I've let that go. I've worked through it. But a lot of those people in my past that weren't there to stay, they taught me something. They played a role. They were there to trigger me somehow, or they betrayed me somehow, or did me wrong somehow, but it taught me something. It got just that much more up out of me to take a look at and work through. And it gave me the chance to rise above the circumstances, okay? It gave me the chance to learn to empower myself. Because I was presented with such a hurt. Because of the fact that someone presented me with such a pain, or someone presented me with such a challenge, it spiritually gave me the opportunity to flex my spiritual muscles, to study, to learn, to strive, to grow, to work through that, and eventually stand up and feel that self-confidence, that self-respect, rise above the situation, learn through it, take what I needed to learn, and get out. Okay, sometimes life is going to present us with relationships like that. And that is a perspective that I look at it from. We all play roles on this earth on what we're doing in each other's lives, and we can all learn from that, okay? So it's not always necessarily, oh God, so-and-so just backed in the corner and everything is terrible. And you can best bet Will Smith and Jada, life partners of almost 30 years, you can best bet there is something very spiritual going on there. And I've been in a situation like that myself, really almost for the last 6 years. To where on the surface, it looked shitty. It looked like I was not getting the fair end of the deal, and not being treated right, and not being respected all the way. And my partner's having all these issues, and alcoholic issues, and narcissistic issues, and on the flip side of that, I'm completely reacting to that all the time. I'm pissed, and I'm this, and I'm that, and went through the stage of, oh, I'm so mistreated, and I've had to learn and grow through a lot of those stages with this person, okay? And looking back on it, I don't look at it like a failure, or, oh my God, I was just so victimized. No, I made a choice to walk through that with that person. And I made the choice to continue staying with him year after year after year, even after I saw the first troubles coming, even after I saw them for quite some time. But I'll tell you something, the spiritual growth that was going on between he and I, not only the psychological work and discussions we were having together behind the scenes, but the spiritual realizations about what it's like to love another human being, and sometimes go into the abyss of another human being. Because if you can fully love another human being with all of your empathy and open your entire soul to love them, not shrink back, not protect, but fully love them, then you better be prepared for the opposite of what you might run into in the depths of their psyche. you better be prepared to go into the abyss with them as well. And it might be fucking bumpy. That's what you get when you truly love another human soul. So we learned a lot spiritually about what it is truly like. You know, we were at an age where the kids are grown. This is not a starter marriage. This is not, young people stuff, whatever, what have you. We're busy raising kids and all these pressures. This was two people coming together in their 40s, okay? And really getting to focus on one another and what it's really like to learn another human being, to love another human being. And it was fucking frightening for both of us. Yes. He had a lot of issues. I had a lot of issues, and so I just want to kind of put this extra awareness and perspective out there. Now, we can get down with he did this and she did that and this is terrible and okay. We can get into some of those aspects. But from a much higher perspective, I do believe that Will and Jada are spiritual partners. And I believe there's something good about them, that they are learning and progressing in a spiritual way together. Whatever they came to this earth to spiritually learn and accomplish. I think that is part of what's going on. You can best bet that. Now, on the other scale of things, in this third dimensional reality here, what society says and what this looks like on the surface, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit going on. They're caught up in a lot of crap here. But for their own spiritual progression, they're going through exactly what they probably need to go through to heal those aspects of their psyche. Okay? All that buried stuff in Will's life, Jada has triggered a lot of it. And that is going to present him with an opportunity to get it up and get help. Whereas if Jada had been perfect to him and everything was all hunky-dory, that stuff may have never come up in him. It may have never come to a boiling point where he could get it out of his soul, where he could get the help he needed. A lot of people may not agree with this perspective. That's okay. That's okay. And no, it doesn't mean anything one way or the other. It doesn't mean I totally agree with it or I totally disagree with it. It's just a perspective, okay? And no, generally we don't want to let things go to a boiling point like that. But you kind of follow where I'm going with this. That's what I'm feeling off of the whole deal. Now, we can break it down into other compartments. Jada's a narcissist. Will Smith is a victim. Will Smith is codependent. He's got wounds that he wants his wife to, he's attached onto her, hoping to heal these wounds through her. And she's just not having it. She's not acting right. And he's still wanting her validation. We can break this down into all kinds of components. And I'm not saying that she's right for acting that way, even though she was honest with him from day one about who she was. I'm not saying that's not hurtful to him. Even if you agree to be with somebody who wants to be in an open relationship, even if you agree to it and say, I love you anyway, let's do it. I will accept you. If you sleep with other men or I sleep with other women, I will accept that. Even if you do it, that doesn't mean it's going to take away the pain when it actually happens. When you got to pay up, when the day comes, you agreed to that shit, and there she goes out the door with her lover, and you can't say anything because you agreed to this? Okay, yes, I can see all kinds of problems starting to happen when two people agree to be in an open relationship like that, but yet we're going to be life partners and have this love. Now, I know a lot of people that live that way, and it works for them, but you have to be on a very, very, very mature level, a highly spiritual level and a highly mature level, not to in order to cope with something like that. You really do, or else you're just going to be attacking each other and going back on the agreement all the time, and it's going to be hurting you and making you feel insecure and triggering you. If you're not to a point where, all right, I agreed to this, I'm going to be mature about it. It is what it is. I'm confident enough to know that this person loves me. They'll be back. I agreed to this, And it's all good. We've got love. I'm not triggered by this. Nobody can take her from me. I don't care who she sleeps with because nobody can take her from me. We have what we have. I'm going to let her have her life. You have to be on a certain damn level to be able to be that way because that shit's going to hurt. So I can see all that causing a problem. So I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt him, her actions. But at the same time, I'm saying you can't totally attack and villainize. It's easy to villainize her, make her into the villain. But she told him up front that she was like this and that's who she wanted to be. And she didn't want to cross that boundary. Now, in a later video, I'm going to get into why I can understand some of her anger. And sometimes it's not always what you think. Like, it came out about her 40th birthday party and how he just went all out and he wanted to do this for her and that for her and this for his woman and really make her dreams come true and this and that and the other. And everybody's kind of fussing about, boy, she was a bitch to him. All she responded with was, your ego knows no bounds, does it? And everybody's really down on her for making that comment to him. Will himself has talked about how it hurt him and how that was kind of a pivotal moment where he was just like, you know what? Because back then, hell, years have passed since then, but back then around the time of her 40th birthday, I guess he was still trying. But here's what I'm wondering. If he made an agreement with his wife up front, why was he trying and trying and trying? Like, what is going on with that? And so sometimes it's not necessarily that Jada's being a nasty person or a narcissist, but she has a different personality. And if Will Smith agreed to certain things up front, there's something about him that's desperately searching for approval and validation in his wife. And sometimes that goes too far. Yes, your partner should be able to validate you to a degree, but sometimes everybody thinks the narcissist is the one that's being a bitch openly and having the attitude openly, and sometimes it's the one who's not. Sometimes the person who's really quiet and sweet behind closed doors, they also have narcissistic tendencies. They are always after you for more praise, more validation, more than you could possibly ever give to them. And I'm not saying Will is that way, but he could be one of those wounded souls who never gets enough praise. No matter what you do, no matter how you've tried to pump up his ego, he could be one of those types. We've talked about it in other videos, the covert narcissistic type. And I'm not saying that he is. I adore Will Smith. I think he's a great dude. But behind closed doors, I can see that pissing Jada off. I've been in a similar circumstance where I already told a person, this is my boundary. He agreed that he would, he likes me for me. He accepts me for the human I am. And then behind closed doors, no matter what I did to, validate this person and make him feel good about himself and secure with everything, he still was after constant praise. And he would do things and expect me to just go overboard with certain amounts of approval and praise and, oh, yes. And, when somebody's coming after you, that is so draining. And I'm just wondering if for her 40th birthday, she had already asked Will, hey, sometimes this happens. Just like she didn't want the big fancy frou-frou wedding. What's wrong with that? I'm just trying to balance this out here, guys. I'm not saying she might not be a bitch to him a great deal of time and do some hurtful things to him. It happens. She might be doing it, okay? But what I'm saying is, that's not fair either, and it's not right. There are so many cases like that, and I've been in situations like that before, where she may have specifically told him, hey, babe, I do not want a big to-do on my birthday. I don't want you to go all out. I feel uncomfortable with that. This is what I'm happy with right here. And for him to go over that boundary, see, society doesn't look at shit like that. They just look at the person who went all out and go, oh, poor them. They didn't get the applause that they wanted. But the person who lives with them knows they have to deal with that all the time. Not having your boundary respected. A lot of these empty and wounded people, they will not listen to what you really want either. They will not see you as a person, a human. They will not listen to what really makes you happy and show you that respect either. Oh, babe, I really prefer just to sit here and read my book on my birthday. I just want a quiet cup of tea and read my book. Is that okay for my birthday? That is what will make me feel good. And then, just hypothetically, then they bounce out and go get balloons and firecrackers and hire a stripper or a dancer for you. And there's music and confetti going everywhere. And, oh, they got you all these gifts and invited all your families knocking on the door. It's going to be... Okay? Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at all that. And all you really... Now, I'm not saying that's what happened with Will and Jada. But I did listen to Will talk about how he said he researched it for almost 3 years. I think that's what he said. Everything that she ever loved, everything that was a passion for her, he wanted to make this the biggest and best fucking blowout for his wife turning 40. And he put so much work into making it beautiful and wonderful. And he's like, the only response I got, she just said, your ego knows no bounds, does it? And he's like, wow, that's not the response I expected. Okay, stop. Stop. Let's take a look at this now. Everybody can beat the hell out of her all they want. But behind the scenes here, if you really want to get technical about it, 9 times out of 10, Jada wasn't prepared to respond to all that. 9 times out of 10, she had probably told him, I'm not comfortable with all that. I don't know exactly what happened, okay? But I think that somewhere within Will Smith, I've seen it happen in my own life. People have done it to me. I've done it back in the past. I think Will Smith gets carried away, and you can beat up on Jada and make her the villain all you want. But you're not having to live with Will Smith for 30 years. You don't know that he may not do this to her all the time, and she's just simply not being a bitch, but she's just like, dude, I've told you year after year who I am. And some people get so carried away with, oh, but I wanted you to have the best birthday, and it meant so much to me. It meant so much to me to do it for you. I wanted to see the smile on your face, and I wanted to feel this. I wanted to get this reaction, and I didn't get it. I just wanted to make you happy. A lot of people will say that shit, and they don't even realize they are making it all about them. It is all about their ego, satisfying their ego, getting a high on doing things for other people when other people have specifically said, this is not my thing. This is where we get into it being borderline abuse territory, psychological and emotional abuse. Okay, I know that's hard to believe, and a lot of you will not spot that in your everyday life, but I have lived it. I have lived it. And a lot of you are like, oh, come on. Come on. If my dude went out and bought me balloons and flowers and threw a big old birthday bash for me, I wouldn't sit there and be such a bitch like that. I'd be happy. Yeah, I hear you. A lot of you are saying that. Okay, I would too. Hell yeah. I'm not saying there probably aren't times where, like any human relationship, maybe she overreacts. Maybe she's a bitch sometimes when she shouldn't be. Maybe she should be a little more grateful, use more tact when speaking to her husband. I'm not saying some of that's not going on, but I'm trying to provide a specific example to you guys of when this shit becomes unfair and nobody sees the other part of it. I've lived in that. I've had that happen to me where nobody sees the other part of it. There are secret narcissists. Don't ever forget that. There are narcissists that don't look like narcissists. They look like the sweet, charming husband. I'm just trying to make you happy. All I live for is to make you happy. Okay? But behind the scenes, you've already told them, this is not what makes me happy. It's what makes you happy. It's making you happy to buy all those balloons and all that confetti and invite all these people. And it's getting you high. It's serving your ego, not me. It's not truly making me feel loved. It's not truly making me feel safe, comfortable. All I wanted for my birthday was to have a hot cup of tea and read my book. And I'm going to tell you something. When it comes down to really loving another human on this earth, in an altruistic and genuine way, then it will not be about what you wanted to do for their birthday. Oh, ding, 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 ding. It will not be about what you wanted to give them. I was so attached to, I just knew it was going to be great and I was going to get to feel this and make everybody smile and I was going to get all the praise and I was going to be seen as the best husband in the world at that point. Okay, Will says, I just wanted to make Jada feel so loved and like a princess, and I just wanted to figure out all these little things that would just blow her away and make her so happy. People fail to realize that's more about him than her. Yes, I'm not saying he's a bad dude. I love Will Smith, but I'm trying to break it down. At that point, it's more about him than her, okay? And we need to see this more often and stop over-villainizing the partner who is simply saying, no, I don't want that. I told you I didn't want that. I was kind and sweet. I declined you with compassion and tact. I said no. Thank you anyway. That's a boundary. That is, we have a right to not want what someone else, their vision of what's right for us. We have a right to not agree with what your vision of what's supposed to make us jump for joy. That's more about you. It's not about making us happy. Oh, I've been stuck in that for so long. I have gone through that, where it's more about them getting their ego fulfilled than it is actually about, hey, my wife wanted a quiet little birthday. I got her a hot cup of tea, her favorite book. I shut the room down. I turned off the phones. I guarded the door. I went on about my business, and I gave my baby the happy birthday she wanted. She had that whole day in that quiet, lovely room, and she came out feeling rejuvenated, and she feels even more bonded to me because she can trust that I know I'm considering what's really best for her, what's truly best for her soul, what truly makes her feel loved and special. I'm paying attention to those boundaries, those things that make her feel loved and safe. Not going behind her back or going overboard and I'm going to plan this and oh my God, it's going to be her wildest dream and oh my God, it's going to make her so happy after she's already told me. Now, this was hypothetical. I cannot say for sure that Jada had told him she didn't want a big old birthday party. I do not know that. Okay, that was just hypothetical, what happens in relationships sometime. And but I do know it's a fact. Will talked about it. He wanted to do this big old bash, and he did not get the response he wanted from his wife. But technically, Jada was right. I feel like it was more about Will's ego from the wounds of his past. It's more about Will getting his ego fulfilled and getting the praise from his wife. He keeps trying to get this praise from his wife. And yes, that'll get on your nerves after a while. I know that look on a woman's face of, dude, stop. Stop. I've already told you who I am, and I just want to be loved and respected for who I really am. Bring it down a notch, man. Get out of your own dreams and your own fucking fixed idea of who you want me to be and how you want me to react to you. I think Jada's picking up on some of that. And it will piss you off because that's not a real connection. I think some of that stuff's going on, guys, okay? Now, I'm not saying Will's a bad dude. I think he's a great dude. And yes, it's nice to show gratitude and appreciation when people do wonderful things for us. Yes. But I'm just trying to open your awareness to the fact that we have a right to have boundaries. And I don't feel like it's correct for society to judge people who have boundaries. That bitch. I wish I had a man like that. I would take him. I would fucking love to have, hey, somebody giving this, doing this, and somebody doing this and doing that. Yeah, but you haven't lived with that over and over and over and over again for 30 years in different circumstances, and you tell them one thing and they do another, and you tell them again and they do another, and they're constantly trying to give you what they want. They're constantly trying to give you their idea and then demanding and getting really butthurt when you don't react. Thank you so much. Oh my God. I love it. I'm overwhelmed. This happens. It's not what you asked for. I've been in relationships where that person could not even see me. They didn't know the first thing that made me feel comfortable, loved, cared about, because they were so busy going so overboard on what they wanted for their ego that they forgot about me. A lot of times people agree to be with us, but they're going to take our personality and they have a snapshot already in their mind of who they're going to try to make us into. By manipulation, or a lot of people see the manipulation or the attitude of the person who's being up front, but they don't see the manipulation of some of these victim types. Here's how they control you. I'm hurt. You hurt my feelings. I tried to do something beautiful for you. That's all. I just wanted to love you. And behind the scenes, they are more manipulative than a motherfucker. They are always breaking your boundary. And in the public, they're getting all the public sympathy too. I'm not saying this is Will Smith, okay? But I'm just saying hypothetically, in situations like that, it could be happening. They'll be out here getting all the public sympathy. Look at that guy. He's so wonderful to his wife. Look at all those flowers he buys her, and look how wonderful he treats her, and look how he just goes overboard for his woman. Oh, he just loves her. Or look at that woman. Look how wonderful. She's doing this, and she's doing that, and she's doing this. I would love to have a woman like her, or I would love to have a man like him. Just look at this. And boy, she's just not responding to him at all. What a bitch. Or boy, he's just not. But a lot of times you don't know. You don't know what's really going on behind closed doors. A lot of times they didn't ask for all that. A lot of times in private and in the deeper parts of their mind, it's not that those people are being extra special good to the other person. It's all a show. It's all something for their ego. And behind closed doors, when they get home, oh, they're getting all the public sympathy and all this shit. Look at how good they are. And then when they get home, they can't even respect their partner for 5 minutes. Look, I just want a quiet bubble bath. Maybe a candle. They'll come barging in and fucking that up. And behind closed doors, they're not giving that partner a damn bit of what that partner really wants. And hey, sometimes we need to face facts. It's not going to be always what's going to make us feel great on every second. Sometimes that partner just wants some space. They just want a quiet bath, or a few hours to read, or some time to themselves. Or that's what it's like learning to love, truly love another human being. You will not own them. You will not control them. You will not have this already created snapshot of who they're going to be and try to project that onto them. What it's like to really learn to love another human being, basically you will learn to let go. You will learn to accept them as they are. and love them anyway. Love them for exactly who they are. Even if it's not making you feel adored every second or praised every second, it's important to know these boundaries and balances, okay? So guys, this video has gotten way too long. I will be coming back in a part 3. We have some other aspects to discuss, but I wanted to go ahead and get this one out while it's fresh on my mind. I do have some other videos to get to work on. I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in, for watching my videos, for giving me the thoughtful feedback, and I hope that this can give someone out there a little perspective or help someone in some way. All right, guys, I will be back soon. Thank you.